Hi YouTube, this is Diane. This video is going to be for people participating in the Round Robin through the Cross Stitch Friends Round Robin group. If you are not participating or not interested in round robins in general, then I will see you next video. But I do have a letter that's going out with my project, but I wanted to make a video in case I forgot anything. And between the letter and the video, we should be able to cover all the bases. This round robin begins September 1st, 2016. And there are 10 of us in this round robin group. So it's a sampler is the theme. And when I looked up samplers on 123 Stitch to figure out which one I wanted to do, I've been looking at round robins for a while, and this one worked into my schedule. This one came up. And it's called Garden Stars by Ink Circles. And it's not what I typically think of when I think of sampler, but it is beautiful. And there are 28 different colors of DMC greens in here. Each motif is a different green, although some motifs do have the same color in them. The motif, each individual motif is one color, so you're not doing a lot of color changes. This is my original. I normally do not mark my originals. I'm including my original to proof of purchase, but I ask that you do not mark the original copy at all, but it will be included in there. This is the working copy that I've made. So, whoops, my finger out of the way. This is the one you can mark up. Use this one, mark it up, highlight, and yeah. I've also included a letter that kind of explains how I stitch and what my expectations are, a little bit about myself. On the back of this letter, I need to redo it because I found some typos, but on the back of this letter I have my name, I have 2 email addresses you can contact me through, my Instagram, my YouTube, my Facebook, my home address, my phone number. So lots of options in case you have a question or there's an issue and you need to get in touch with me. That would be all that information is here. I've also included a copy of the mailing order and who it's going to and stuff. So I've included that. But I've also included the floss, all the flosses. So these are all brand new skeins that I've all bobbinated. Some of them called for more than one skein, like 699 called for 5 skeins. So I've taken some of them and put 699, and over here there will be a number. Not all the colors are that way, but there's a handful of them. So I did that just so I knew I had enough material that's needed in the project. So those are in a bag here. And if you empty a bobbin, I reuse these as much as possible. These DMC ones tend to wear better than some other ones I've tried through the years. And I may even have a plastic bobbin in here or two. So when you are empty a bobbin, just put it in this baggie here, and then I can reuse the bobbin. This is my just-in-case bag. I have all the materials that's called for in the project, but I threw in this bag is 1 skein of each of the colors called for in this project, just in case the numbers are off somehow. I don't think that will happen, but I thought, just in case something happens, there's an extra skein in here of every color. Just one, but that is the just-in-case bag, and that's where you can put the empty bobbins, because I will reuse those. So that'll be included in the package. Oops, I'll lose that guy. I'm also including Bowen needles, size 26. That works very well on this size of fabric. I like Bowen needles. They're really nice. I like Bowen and John James. So I've included a package. You can use them or not. It's up to you. If you have a different needle that you like better, use what you like. I've also included, oops, I forgot to get it out, Thread Heaven. I use Thread Heaven on most of my projects, and I do ask that you use Thread Heaven on this project. The part that I stitched on this project, I did use Thread Heaven, so I ask that you also use it. I'm probably going to send it in this container here, and I'll put the goop on the lid, and when I'm stitching, I'll screw it down like this, because the goop will be right here, and then I'll put my needle through and stuff. When I'm done stitching, I'll just flip this around, because there's threads here on the lid and there's threads on the inside, so you have that option. And then it protects the Thread Heaven from getting squished or, you know, extra fibers or hairs or anything like that that happens in life. So I will have that in there for my Thread Heaven, and I do ask you use Thread Heaven. I'll have a needle threader in there. I don't normally use a needle threader, but I know some people do. If you need one, there's one in there, and it'll be in the pill bottle also. Feel free to use it. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. Not a problem. But I thought I'd throw one in there. I'm also going to throw some of this in here. This is one thing I am kind of particular about, is the lotions that are used around projects. Because lotions often have fragrances and colorants and stuff, and that can actually affect your fabric and your fibers. So I like using gloves in a bottle. This is designed and perfect to use around crafting projects, whether it's quilting or knitting or cross-stitching. It's designed to not damage your fabric or your fibers. It's also hypoallergenic, fragrance-free, colorant-free, and how you use it is you see the size of the drop here on the bottle, and it's not wanting to focus. So, sorry, just give me a second here. There we go. No. This size here, it's less than the size of a pea. That's really all you really need for both your hands. And you can put it on your hands, and it covers really well. One other thing I love about this, aside from the fact it's not damaging my project, but I can actually wash my hands 3 or 4 times, and I still feel like the gloves in a bottle is still on my hands. This is a really nice product. I am not sure if I'm going to send this big bottle or these samples here. It says 2 or 4 applications. The reality is, because you use so little, there's a lot of lotion in these samples. And I'm going to pick up a couple more samples before I drop this in the mail. So I'm not sure if I'm going to send this or the bottle, but either way, it'll be in a zippy bag to prevent any damage to any of the other items in the package. So if you need, I mean, we're going into winter, and here in Minnesota, winter's very dry, and I'm assuming winter's dry elsewhere in the U.S., so I just want to make that available since that is something I am picky about. And again, it's hypoallergenic, fragrance-free, colorant-free, so if you have any kind of sensitivity to that type of thing, hopefully it may be something you want to try, or you don't have to use any lotion at all. But I am picky about the lotions, sorry, I'm moving the camera around, that are used on my project. That's one thing I am picky about. And obviously you're going to be washing your hands and stuff when you're stitching and that type of thing. So now the actual project. As you look, this is the working copy, and I just have a black and white printer, so I printed it off, and then I took colored pencils, and this is orange highlighter here. Why I did this is this orange highlighter here, motif here, here, and here. These are motifs I will stitch when it comes back to me. When I chose this pattern, I knew that not everything would be stitched when it came back to me, that I would have stuff to stitch. And these are the largest motifs in here. Tara mentioned in one of her videos that you should plan on between 6 and 10 hours available time to participate in the round robin. Sometimes you have more, but I feel that these would probably take longer than that. I know this one does. So that's why I'm going to stitch those. But then I have some that are colored yellow here. and this one and this one. You'll see it better on the actual copy. These I'm only asking you to consider stitching one of that size, because I think that will take up all your stitching time. The purples here, and there's, again, you'll see them clearer when it arrives. You can stitch one or two. I realize life happens and sometimes you're not able to stitch two things that you really wanted to. So if you only stitch one, that works great for me. The green is the next size, and I'm asking between 1 and 3 motifs. And then these little itty bitty guys, they're kind of a reddish colored pencil here. If you want to stitch up to 4 of them, you are welcome to. But again, I know life happens. I'm a mom of 13. I know life happens pretty quickly. If you're only able to get one, that's great. But this should help you kind of figure it out. Also, on the actual pattern here, I stitched this guy. And I'll explain a couple reasons why. First of all, he's the largest motif. Second of all, he is not in the exact center. And I thought that could throw people off. I assumed he was in the center, and then when I started stitching him, quickly realized, no, he is not in the exact center. So I didn't want to run out of fabric. By having him, the biggest one, stitched, and let's say you choose this design here, you will have the benefit of, I highlighted the vertical middle and the horizontal middle on the pattern, but you'll have that benefit, and you'll also have the benefit of being able to count from this big guy here to help with placement of this design. Excuse me. I also didn't want anybody to open the package and she wants me to stitch what? I didn't want anybody to panic, so I stitched the biggest guy. I've never stitched in ink circles before, but I'm really, really liking their pattern, so they're on my must-do list at some other time also. So he is stitched. Again, he's the largest motif. He's a good anchor, and he's not in the exact center, so that should also help with placement of these other motifs. So here he is. He is stitched with 699 Christmas green. Where's the 669? Oh, it's 699. Yeah, Christmas green. So he is all done. And as you look here, you can see a little bit of sparkle here and a little bit of sparkle over here. I took gold sulky sliver and I indicated what the vertical center and the horizontal center are on this project. Also, because I think this is a project that would be easy to flip, I have also stitched 8 gold stitches at the top. It's not wanting to focus on the stitches, but it's right there, so you know that this little band of stitches, that's the top. This piece of fabric is 32 count, 27 by 36 inches cream Belfast linen, so it's a big piece of cloth for this project. And that was the recommended color, and I ordered the pattern through 123 Stitch, and this was the fabric that was recommended. I like that it's not bright white because that cream is nice on the eyes to stitch on. So here's the largest motif, and I indicated the top, I indicated the vertical and the horizontal centers with sulky, and on the paper pattern I highlighted the vertical and the horizontal centers. What I also want you to notice is here, I put my initials at the edge of the motif, the lower right edge of the motif, when I was finished. I ask you to do that too with any of the motifs that you stitch. I used the exact same color as this motif, and I used 2 strands. This motif is stitched 2 strands over 2 threads, and so I ask that you do that also on your initials, just your first and last initial. And I placed this on the pattern. I made sure on the pattern, and I penciled it in. So when you look at the pattern, you'll see where I penciled my initials in. That way I could get the size and make sure that it didn't bump into any other motifs. So I ask that as you stitch any motifs, that you stick your initials in the lower right somewhere, like here in this area, that's open, and this guy might be a little trickier, but just please put your initials by any motifs that you stitch. I think that with this particular design, that will add a lot of character to it. And again, I just stitched it in the color of the motif. I stitched it in the color of the motif. So that's all that I would ask you to do. But overall, I think this will be a fun project. I've been looking at the list of what everybody else is doing and then looking at the patterns. A lot of variety in this round robin, so I look forward to stitching on yours. Again, I will have these all packaged in a water and tear resistant mailer, and I'll have my return address here. If any of your projects arrive and I think that the envelope is not going to survive, this is a package of 6 envelopes, so I will put your package in a new envelope. I would really prefer you to get your project in one piece rather than have something happen to it. So I'll do that, and I'll put your return address here if I need to do that. But I'll have one of these. So I did want to mention one other thing before I wrap this up. I stitch in the hand, which is why this is all kind of wrinkly, which means I roll up my fabric like this, and I'm right-handed, so I hold it in my left and I stitch with my right to wherever I'm at in the pattern. If you feel that you need to press the project at any time, please press from the back and don't use steam. I do plan on washing this because it's DMC solid colors at the end of the round robin, but please don't use steam. I'm not sure how the sulky will react to the steam because I haven't steamed sulky. I've steamed other things but not sulky. But this guy, he'll be in his own zippy bag. Around here, a lot of the male personnel smoke, or a lot of the packages will arrive and they feel gritty. I'm not quite sure why. But if the fabric's in a zippy bag, then it's protected. So it's going to have the piece with the motif I've already stitched. This will be in its own zippy bag. You'll have a working copy. Yes, you can mark this up. When you're done with the motif, please highlight the motif that you stitched. You don't have to put your initials across it, but just highlight the ones that you stitched on the paper pattern, so then the next person will know which motifs are still available. Although I didn't want to indicate these yet. But yeah, there's different sizes in here and different colors and stuff, so feel free to do one or more depending on the size of the motif and how much time you have. I will also have all the bobbins, the thread and bobbins. This guy's going to go back in here. Let's check them out for the video. These are all brand new skeins, so there should be plenty of floss. But just in case, I have a just-in-case bag. And my just-in-case bag has one extra skein of each color that's in here. Some of the colors are multiple bobbins of the same color, and I indicate that on the bobbin with a little number circle over here. I do reuse these, so please send them back and you can just throw them in this bag. Oh, I did also want to mention, I am comfortable with people using frames or hoops or Q-snaps on my project, and if this guy gets in the way, you can snip him. But I ask that you put the paper card here back, or put it into this bag if you need to. That way when I'm doing, because I have a cross-stitch journal, that way I remember what the fabric is. Otherwise, my memory, I won't remember what it is. I'm also going to include a package of needles. You can use them or not, your choice. I'm going to include Thread Heaven. I do ask that you use Thread Heaven because I have used it, and I do like to use it, especially on the DMC fibers. It works really, really well. I'm also including a needle threader right here. If you use a needle threader, use it. If not, don't worry about it. If you need lotion, Please use gloves in a bottle. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use this or these samples here. But this lotion works great, and it doesn't damage the fibers or the fabrics used. So if you're going to use lotion, please use this. I also have my original for proof of purchase, but I don't mark my original pattern, so I ask that you please do not mark it. That's why I made a working copy. And I have my welcome letter that kind of explains all this stuff again. And on the back of this, I have my name, my email, my phone number, my mailing address, my YouTube name, my Instagram name, and my Facebook contact information. So you should be able to contact me. I've also included a copy of the mailing order that we will be using. That way, in case you forget or have lost your copy, you have that information with you. This will all be in a zippy bag, in a water and tear-resistant mailer, and I will have my return address here. And again, if one of your projects comes and the envelope is questionable, I will throw your project into a new envelope. So I look forward to working on all your projects, and this will be a fun thing. I've never done this before, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. But I just wanted to make a short video so you could see what I have in here. And feel free to contact me if you have any questions. But I look forward to mailing this, and I will probably make another video about something else. But I thank you, and I hope you have a really, really great stitching day. Bye-bye.